Well, ladies and gentlemen, so today we are back to our Planets through Nakshatra series, and today we are going to be talking about Saturn in Magha Nakshatra. And what happens when Saturn is sitting in the Nakshatra of Maga? That means it's going to be in the sign of Leo in your horoscope. And as always, if you do not know, if you have Saturn in this Nakshatra, where all your other planetary placements are in the Nakshatra, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology, Conjunction Aspects, and Mahadashas at the speed of light, including all my consultations at this link. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe below as well. So, Magha, as you know, is a nakshatra of the Pitris. It's the nakshatra of your ancestors. It is the seed of power given by your ancestors. Magha represents the split of two worlds. One is the realm that you live in now. The other is the realm that belongs to the other side. Because remember, as much as we think, okay, this is something I realized about Magha Nakshatra, as much as we think that we are far away from dealing with Yama, dealing with our ancestors, dealing with our Pitris, dealing with, what we have done in this birth life, as much as we think we're far away, we're like, man, we're a long ways away from any of the dealing with any of these things. But you have to remember, if you die right now, if let's say I was to die right now, guess what? Within a split second, I'm on the other side. I am facing everything that I am supposed to face, and the things that I'm here to deal with in this plane. Now I have to go back and kind of give my file. This is how quickly it works. This is why the two realms are this. This is the physical realm, this is the astral realm. And Magha Nakshatra represents your family. See, Nakshatras are the 27 families in the sky. Which lineage and DNA are you coming from? So each planet has its own Karkavastha, its own significance that it brings. So your karmas, your actions, the action that you are supposed to face, you are supposed to perform, you are supposed to pay to society, is coming through the family of ancestors. The Pitris. There is some karma related to karma from previous life that you must pay now by dealing with the things related to Magha Nakshatra. Magha Nakshatra represents the room, imagine a room with a throne, royal regal throne. But a royal regal throne is simply the throne that represents the seat of power that you're supposed to stand on by blessings of your ancestors. Your ancestors have brought you into this world, especially if you have your ascendant moon, or your 10th lord in Magha Nakshatra, clearly shows that you are here to take power on something because of the fact your ancestors want you to, and your ancestors have blessed you to. So if you think you went on the top of the world because of your own effort, because of what you did, oh no. No, you're simply a puppet to the family of ancestors. So now you are taking Saturn's energy and you're putting in here. Now, what does this mean? Saturn, as you know, is a number one servant. Saturn represents beggars. Saturn represents public servants. Saturn represents, dealing with our practicality of life, dealing with our, reality of life. It is the significator of health, transformation, expenditures, ashrams, isolated places. Saturn even represents politicians. Because why? Because politicians, in a way, are beggars. What do they have to do? They have to beg for your vote. This is a great analogy that Kapiel Raaj came up with. Like, politicians are beggars. They're begging because they're out there on the stand saying, yes, I will do this for you, do that for you. You gotta vote on this day for me. Meaning, I need your vote. Please give me your vote. That's Saturn. And Saturn is now sitting on the seat of the power of the ancestors. In the house of the lion, sun, where Saturn is not comfortable. Saturn feels rejected from the kingdom. Not from the Maga, just from the sun. From the sun's kingdom, Saturn feels rejected. If you read the mythology of Saturn and sun, how their relationship came about, which is literally will take 20 minutes to explain here, but simply Saturn does not like to deal with Sun. But now you're also putting Saturn, a servant, into the seat of throne. So if you took a servant who has no clue about the etiquettes, the rules, the boundaries, the knowledge of being on a throne, and you put them on a throne suddenly, they will not feel comfortable, number one, because they feel like, oh my God, I don't belong here. What am I doing here? Second, they can make very harsh, irrational decisions regarding how the kingdom should be run. Because what happens with Saturn energy, Saturn becomes extremely liberal about the working class. And Saturn fights against the authority. So here Saturn, through its decision making, can do great for the people and can bring down the throne. But Saturn in Magha Nakshatra shows that the actions that you will perform in this life, because Saturn is karma karaka, meaning karaka, significator of your actions. The more you serve society, the higher you will go onto the seat of power. The minute you become egotistical with your position, Saturn will not like that, and Saturn will bring you down. So if you are, let's say you are even an actor with Saturn in Magha, you become a great famous actor, but then suddenly your ego comes in, arrogance comes in. You think of everybody as peasants. Suddenly Saturn will bring you down. So if you, let's say, are a future big movie star of Bollywood and Hollywood and you're watching this and you see, wow, my Saturn is in Magha Nakshatra. As soon as you get the seat of power, don't just feel like, oh my God, this is my only chance to act arrogant, to have all the ego and get all the best of the world. That's where you will lose. As soon as you get to the seat of power, the first thing you want to do is bow to the people who are below you, because you are those people. When you do that, that's where Saturn will learn its lesson. That's where Saturn slowly will see, okay, this is how the kingdom is run. This is how the seat of power is run. This is how I'm supposed to deal with all the politics within the kingdom. But if Saturn ignores all that and then becomes very egotistical, very brash about its position now, because it has now beaten the sun. Okay, so think of Saturn beating the sun, taking sun's throne. Now he feels powerful, like, oh, I'm above you now finally, sun. That's where Saturn falls, due to its own Karkavastha. So Saturn in Magha Nakshatra can definitely show rag to riches stories. A servant going to the high positions in life. Saturn will show that you will probably have, and this is another big thing, if you have servants, if you have people working under you and you are their boss, do you have a past life connection with those people? They were your ancestors. Remember that too. Saturn could actually represent your own ancestors. So if somebody comes and cleans your house, cleans your cars and vehicles, somebody who works in the office as your employee, they might be your ancestors from long, long ago. So treat them nicely. Because when you treat that Saturn nicely, you are getting the blessings of the ancestors. When you make your servants, the people around you, feel comfortable, feel happy, at the same time work is being done, you are still a boss, you still like to get things done on time, but with respect, you will climb to the ladder of success. Because remember, Magha is a nakshatra ruled by Ketu. Ketu represents, what is Ketu's karka of? Ketu's karka of flag. What happens when what is the job of a flag, first of all? It flies high. It flies high. It's all about rising to the throne. But who rises and who stays up is a person who's humble. So here, Ketu's energy says that you can keep the throne, you can have the throne, you deserve this throne through your karmas. But as soon as you bring in your ego into this, which belongs to the sun, you will go down. Be the most humble. Kind of like an example, who is the, as they call, the king of Bollywood, the Shahanshah of Bollywood, Amitabh Bachchan. But in any interview, any public forum, Amitabh Bachchan is always the most humble person. He's like, I'm not the greatest. I'm not the best. I don't deserve any like special treatment like a king. I'm just a normal person like you. I eat, I do this. He keeps himself humble. Most likely he received great advice from people who said, look, the more humble you are, the more you will rise. Especially obviously if you look, Amitabh Bachchan has Rahu in this Nakshatra of Magha. And Rahu loves being in Maga. Rahu automatically gets the throne in the world. And Rahu is a reflection of Saturn. So even with Rahu, okay, I think I explained that in Rahu with Magha Nakshatra. That even with, because Rahu is a reflection of Saturn. The more humble you are, the more you take care of the people below you and you rise the people, you can keep the throne as long as you like. And that's what Saturn is here to teach in Magha Nakshatra. And there are a lot of other things too with Magha Nakshatra, with Saturn, which I don't want to discuss. I like to stay on the more positive end of the things. There are some very, very negative things that come out with many other nakshatras with Saturn and some other planets. So, but this is what the main thing you want to know. And the only negative thing that you can get out of this is that the minute you think that you're above everybody else, the minute you think that you deserve better than and everybody else is a peasant, that's where it goes down. That's just the most important thing you can know with Saturn. Okay. So guys, this is my analysis of Saturn in the Nakshatra of Magha. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your Saturn is placed, all your astrological details, my books, reports, readings, consultations, for that, check out the link here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.